Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I am back again with another video, you guys. Welcome. So, as promised, I wanted to make another video, you guys. I'm going to be talking more about this topic. I realized that, although I have a lot of people that follow me that have been victims of narcissistic abuse, I also have people that are those that watch my tarot reading videos, but those that are empaths, highly sensitive people, and intuitive people, which is like myself. So you might be an empath if I mention any of these things. And shout out to, I got my inspiration from Realized Empath. It's a really good website. Well, it's on Instagram. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook as well as Instagram at LiveNarcFree. Make sure that you do subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like when you view it, and give the other video I did earlier a like too. All right, you guys. So I'm just gonna get into it. So for those of you that are not sure what the empath is basically someone that is very caring, very loving, very intuitive kind of person. They care about people's feelings. They don't want to hurt anybody. They don't like conflict. They don't like drama. They don't like crowds. They don't like being around too many people. They feel other people's feelings, whether they like it or not. And I'm going to continue to do these kind of videos where I'm talking about empaths, how to handle being an empath, handle being sensitive. And I'm going to be coming up with some courses which will help you guys how to deal with your sensitivities and learning how to be assertive in this kind of world where it teaches you to not have any feelings, to not feel your feelings. But when you're empathic, it's natural for you to feel your feelings. It's natural for you to love. It's natural for you to care, and people take advantage of that, unfortunately. All right. So I just wanted to go over, ways you can tell if you're an empath, signs you're an empath. All right, so again, the first thing is if you feel emotions of others, like you really feel them, and all of this stuff I'm saying from experience because I know for a fact I am an empath. I guess you could say I used to be ashamed of it previously because I didn't know about it. I just knew that I was sensitive. I knew that I would cry a lot. I knew that, but not a lot, but I just knew that if I didn't understand something and I felt like uncomfortable and I felt like I couldn't do anything about it, I would just kind of cry, even if I was angry or upset, especially dealing with the narcissist and also like living with my aunt. I noticed I would like spend a lot of time in my room by myself, and I would always feel like isolated. I'd always feel alone, like nobody understood me. I felt like very misunderstood. And you probably feel the same way too. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. But you feel the emotions of others, like you really feel them. You can feel if someone's sad, you can feel if someone's mad, you can feel if someone's angry, not necessarily at you, but you can feel that energy, and that's because you're very empathic. That's like a natural thing for you. It's like that's what God made you to be empathic. Another way if you're empathic is you're highly compassionate, especially if you're not drained or overwhelmed. Now, a lot of us empaths, we do have a tendency to get drained and overwhelmed where we're around a lot of people, we're dealing with the world and the stresses of everything that's going on, especially during this pandemic. It's a lot of us, we kind of self-isolate, and it's important to take care of ourselves, and I'm going to be making more videos about how to take care of yourself being an empath, like self-care tips. But yes, you guys, so you're very compassionate, you're loving, you're understanding, you're generous, you're kind, and again, people will take advantage, but you just have to be careful. Listen to your intuition, follow your gut, follow your heart. Another way you may be an empath is if crowds overwhelm you. This is a big one for me. When I spent 11 years in California, coming from being a native of Delaware, moving all the way to California, I don't know if you guys know that distance. Yes, it's across the country. Yeah, because Delaware is like one of the smallest states besides, I think it's Rhode Island is the first smallest, and then Delaware is the second smallest. Is Maine the next? Is the third smallest, or is it Vermont, something like that, or Connecticut? But yes, you guys, you don't like crowds. It's too much. It's too much energies going on. You have your own anxieties, maybe. It's very overwhelming. I know, like, to give you guys an example, I used to drive for Lyft and Uber, and I used to love the one-on-one rides. Like, I loved it. Now, see, the thing that kind of got me about Lyft and Uber was, you know how sometimes, well, I haven't taken an Uber in the longest, but like, usually, like, when you put in a request for a ride, you can let the person, like your driver, know that you're gonna have another person in the car. But for some reason, the app that I was using when I was living in LA, it would tell me, like, yeah, it'd be one extra person in the car along with your passenger. But I remember I used to pick up people, and it say that it'll be like one or two people, and I see like 6 people, and I'm like, what? Y'all are not getting in my car, because first of all, it only fit 5 people. So I don't know about your other folks. Like, I don't know where y'all gonna go. And I used to remember, like, people used to like go back and forth with me talking about, oh, can we add these people? I'm like, no, this is too much energies. And it was asking me all these questions, and it was just so overwhelming for me. So if you kind of have that feeling, you had an experience like that, or even like if you just out and about, like, a lot of empaths like to avoid like public places. They like to avoid malls and concerts. But I remember, like, growing up, like, I used to like to go to concerts, but it wasn't like on an everyday thing, but it was overwhelming. And I'll give you guys an example. Another time, I remember, this was like, I think it was like the last year I was in California, or it was leading up into that time. I remember me and my best friend, we went to the mall. It was in a city called Cerritos. And I just remember, I think it was on a Saturday, or it might have been a Sunday. We were going to the Cheesecake Factory. That restaurant is so good. I love it. But we had a time that we was supposed to come in to get our food, or I'm sorry, where we were gonna like go down and sit down and eat, and we had to wait for the table to be available. And so as we're waiting, we're just walking around in the mall, you know, kind of doing some window shopping or whatever, just like kicking it. And so I just remember feeling like so much anxiety and so much, like, it was just a weird feeling that came. I felt overwhelmed because it was just like, it was too many people at one time in the mall at the same, you know, proximity. Because the Cerritos Mall, although it was big, but it was just a lot of people in that mall. And I remember like telling my best friend, I was like, is there a lot of people in the mall? And she'd be like, no, it's normal. Like, you know, it didn't bother her because, you know, she's a native of California and she's used to it. But me, being from Delaware, a smaller state, I wasn't used to that many amount of people, you know, so that it was too much. I wanted to kind of go and get our food and just leave, or get our food to go and just like have us go at home and just be us two chilling in the house. Like, it was just too much. I literally remember I remember holding my arms out, and there was a person right in front of me, a person to the side of me, and a person in the back of me. Like, that's how close everybody was, and it was jam-packed. And another time, I remember when I had went to Disneyland. This was when I was 19. This was before I found out that I was empathic. But there was a lot of people at Disneyland. Like, there used to be those strollers. They was like on the back of my heels. Like, people was everywhere, you guys. Like, it was ridiculous. So yeah, if crowds overwhelm you, then you could be an empath. Alright, another way you may be an empath is you find like you need to spend a lot of time by yourself to recharge. This is a big one for me. As I said, I'm super happy that I'm going to be working from home because I get to really spend time literally alone. I'm not saying that I don't like people, but it can get to be too much at a certain time or at a certain point. You guys know what I mean? No more. I like to usually keep it at, when I'm around people, like 5 people the most, or 4 people. If it's more than that, then I'm like, it's too much, you know? And what's crazy is, like, I used to go out and have fun with my friends and stuff, you know, like late night clubbing and just having a good time. And even going to clubs and stuff, I used to always try to like go to the far back or just kind of isolate myself from the crowds, like, or go along the wall and dance like over there, but never like in a big, like in the middle of the crowd. Never ever. Because being an empath, you still want to have fun. You don't want to sit in a house and go under a blanket all day, which is sometimes I like to do that. Like sometimes I like to sleep in my bed all day. But yeah, you do find that you have to recharge if you're an empath. Another thing is if you're intuitive or you're psychic. That's another way if you're an empath, you know. So if you just have a knowing of things, or you can read people, or maybe you're a tarot reader like myself, or you're just you're intuitive. You fit, like, you know things. Like, people don't understand why you know it, but you just know. You know, maybe you're a high priestess or a priestess. All right, and another thing is if you're drawn to healing modalities, you know, so things that are very healing. Maybe you like to meditate. Maybe you like to get massages or things like that. Or just if it's your way of being. Maybe you like to pray a lot, you know, different things like that. You know, read the Bible, you know, or, you know, go to retreats, like yoga retreats or healing retreats, self-care retreats, things like that. Like things that will heal you and make you a better person, or just, you know, move you to a higher level of consciousness, of way of being, you know. And then another way you're an empath is if you've been told mistakenly that, you know, you're antisocial, or, you know, or you're introverted, things like that. Because I've been told, you know, that I'm shy, or I come off as shy, or, you know, I don't like people, or that I'm mean. That's not it at all. It's just I like my space. I like my quiet time, and I like to recharge, because being in the world, it's very draining. It can be, it's a lot to deal with, being sensitive, or being an empath, or being HSP, you know, or intuitive. It's a lot to deal with. Sometimes we do let our emotions take over, which is something that we do have to work on, and I will be coming out with videos about that. But it's something that, you know, it's doable. You can do it. You know, I've been learning how to deal with it pretty much my whole life. And as I said before, I was ashamed of it, honestly, because I realized that people around me was not like me. And I thought, like, is there something wrong with me? Why am I like this? Why do I feel this way? You know, but then I just really start to embrace it and accept it, and then use it to the best of my abilities and to help other people. All right, you guys. So I do hope that this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions about sensitivities, empaths, HSP, please let me know, and leave it in the comment box. I'd love to make a video about it. Or you guys can email me at livenarcfree9@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys want to find out how to work with me one-on-one, if you like to check out my services, you like to get a support session, or if you like to work with me for a longer period of time, you can email me same way. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to know what you guys' biggest takeaway was from this video. And if you are an empath, don't be ashamed about it. It's okay. Like, I'm the same way. It's going to be fine. It's just how God made you. Alright, so I love you guys so much. Make sure that you do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.